Hey guys, welcome to the course. So in this first introductory lecture, I'm just going to cover the course overview, talk about the course format, and set some expectations. So in the first section, we're going to cover the basics. I'm going to talk about what is outsourcing, what's not outsourcing, what are things that should be outsourced and things that absolutely should not be. We're going to get a little bit into depth about how it works, what are kind of the intrinsic values of outsourcing, and what are some of the systematic disadvantages of it. In the second section, we're going to cover three big platforms. We're going to look at Elance, Upwork, and Freelancer. We're going to dive pretty deep into each individual one. I'm going to show you individually how they work. What are the comparative benefits of each? What are the comparative disadvantages of each? I'm going to show you everything I know about each platform, how you can get around certain things in them, how you can get the best outcome for your projects. We're going to close out the second section by covering alternatives for finding outsourced firms and freelancers. I'm going to show you some things that just with a little bit of know-how and how-to, you can also go outside these platforms and find quite a lot of really talented contractors. So in the third section, we're going to take a break and get back into general understanding and theory. Now that you're introduced to the platforms and now you know roughly how this works and how you'd go about doing it, we're going to cover some basic information and some advanced knowledge that will help you considerably. We're going to talk about what are the advantages of different countries, different zones, and what are the disadvantages. We're going to talk about the relationship between price and autonomy, how that affects your project and how you should plan for it. We're going to talk about things like the Goldilocks syndrome, how you can figure out what price is the right price. And then we're going to talk about different types of outsourced firms, freelancers, and everything in between. Then in section 4, we're going to jump back in, get some hands-on experience with making job postings. We're going to cover how do you write the best description, write the perfect title, how do you get all of your settings right, things that would take you years to figure out without guidance. Then in section 5, I'm going to start going over some common strategies for working with outsourced firms. And then we're going to cover some less common, more unique strategies that we here at SprintKick use all the time to dramatically increase our efficiency. We're going to cover techniques like the $50 test, hidden screeners, rapid cycling. We're going to get into some strategies that work with wording and some strategies that work with you taking the initiative and messaging. Section 6, now that you're pretty good at this, we're going to step back again and we're going to get some more understanding, more information about what are the best ways of outsourcing. We're going to talk about things like specializations, legality. Is site reputation important for you? We're going to cover basic tenets for judging your contractors. We're going to cover a lot of red flags you should also be looking for. We're also going to cover a lot of things that people worry about that you shouldn't worry about. Then in section 7, I'm going to show you how you could make the best specifications and the best documentations you can. Documentation is incredibly important if you want to have a successful project. The thing that separates the amateurs from the professionals are the people who can make professional documentation. We're going to cover creating spec sheets, which is something I've been doing for over 7 years. I'm going to show you what sections to put in, what to leave out. We're going to drill down on every single section, and I'm going to walk you through step by step how to make an awesome one that gets the outcome you want. Then after that, I'm actually going to teach you how you can use a tool online to create wireframes. And wireframes are going to be the cherry on top with your documentation. So at the end of that section, you'll know how to make amazing spec sheets for really any project, any scenario. You're also going to know how to wireframe, which is an amazing skill if you ever want to go into UX, or if you just want to be a professional and be able to communicate your project idea effectively. Then in section 8, I'm going to give you everything I know about how you pick the right contract. We're going to use some tricky techniques to figure out who's telling the truth, who's not, figuring out who's high caliber and who's low caliber. We're going to cover every single aspect of it. We're going to talk about response rate. We're going to talk about bid rate. We're going to look for things like price inflation and how you can sniff that out. I'm going to take you through the entire time and walk you through what mentality you should have, what should you be looking for, and what should you actually be ignoring. Then in the next section, we're going to cover some basic free online project management tools that will dramatically help you run your outsourced project. First, we're going to start with Asana. I'm going to show you how you can use Asana, get acquainted with it, and how you can customize it for your outsourcing project. After that, we're going to use a very new and very popular tool called Trello. And I'm going to show you how you can use that to encompass actually a whole lot more. Then we're going to cover Google Drive and Google Docs. We're going to do a crash course really quickly on how you can find some really cool functionalities in Google Drive that can help you manage your outsource project. The next section, we're going to cover bug hunting. I'm going to show you what you should be looking for, how you should manage this process, and what tools you can use to aid yourself in this process. Then the last section, we're going to wrap this up by covering what are very common scenarios that happen to you during your outsource project and how to handle them like a professional. We're going to cover all the big ones, all the ones you've always heard about. Freelancers raising their rates, disappearing, diminishing response rates, low quality work, missing deadlines. We're going to cover every single thing that could happen so you're 100% covered. And that's it. That's the whirlwind tour. At the very end of this, you will know an enormous amount about outsourcing, project management, and how to work with distributed teams. So let's talk a little bit about the course format so you know what to expect. The course format is divided into 3 different types. So we have talking head videos where I'm talking to you like this. This is where we're going to cover things like theory, things like general best practices. Then we're going to have screencast where you're going to be literally looking over my shoulder as I go out there and do exactly what I'm telling you to do. And I'm going to narrate the entire time what you should know, what you should be thinking, how you can go about this in a professional way. Then the last thing is when we actually have hands-on out there working on individual projects. At the very end, we'll be adding a section where I show you a real outsource project, a real project here at SprintKick we're spending money on, and you can see the trials and tribulations, what we do right, what we do wrong, and you can watch us do it. So that pretty much sums it up, guys. If you have any questions, anything at all, even if it's not even related, post it in the group discussion. I'll get to you, or you can send me a private message if you don't want to post it publicly. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to me. Seriously, I'm here 24/7. I'm going to answer any questions you have. Okay, I hope you're excited because I'm excited, so let's start the course.